My name is Lucy, and at 45, I find myself unwinding after a long, demanding day at the office, where the weight of the world often rests on my shoulders. I stood before the office, a mix of anticipation and longing swirling within me. As I stood before the bathroom mirror, a moment of hesitation washed over me while I slowly shed my work attire, beginning with my skirt, followed by the deliberate unbuttoning of my blouse. I stood there, adorned in my blouse. Clad only in my delicate bra and lace stockings, I find myself entranced by my own reflection. It had been ages since I had truly gazed upon myself in such a way. I truly envisioned my essence. In that fleeting moment, an undeniable spark ignited between us. I had yet to experience such a profound sensation. For some time, I dedicated myself to hard work, ensuring I remained in peak condition. Yet, at some point in this journey, I found myself pausing. I ceased to view myself through the lens of allure. As I wandered through my own reveries, I savored the exquisite moment, feeling the gentle caress of lace against my skin, weaving intricate designs along my waist and shoulders. The tranquil ambience enveloped me, a balm for the weariness that clung to my spirit after the day's trials. I scarcely noticed the faint echo of the main door creaking open and shut, a subtle reminder of the world outside. But then, in an unexpected moment, I heard footsteps approaching down the hallway, swift and determined, leaving me with little time to react. As I sought solace, the bathroom door creaked open, revealing Leo in all his unexpected allure. He stood still, eyes wide with surprise. We lingered in silence, our bodies frozen in a moment that felt both electric and forbidden. For a few lingering moments, I absorbed the scene, noticing the wonder reflected in his gaze as he remained rooted in place, captivated. Surprised and caught in a moment of hesitation, he found himself torn between retreating and speaking up. With a nervous stammer, he offered an apology, his hands trembling as he fumbled to secure the door while trying to make his escape. Yet, I found myself unexpectedly whispering softly into the silence. There was no room for shyness. A sudden wave of boldness swept over me, a distinct allure that emerged from a place I couldn't quite grasp. Focus with precision. Perhaps it was simply the intoxicating sensation of being truly noticed, of laying bare one's soul, unashamed and exposed. Leo's gaze sparkled with a mix of awe and intrigue, igniting a thrill within me. I reached out for his arm, halting him just before the door could close entirely, my voice soft and soothing. I whispered to him that there was no need for him to go. A thrilling tension lingered between us, an unspoken connection that felt both intoxicating and undeniably genuine. I confessed to him that I had sensed his intrigue and the allure he held, even prior to this very moment. He glanced back at me, a mix of disbelief and intrigue in his eyes, as if he were grappling with the weight of the moment unfolding between us. A blend of fascination and wonder envelopes the scene. His face, and before I realized it, I was utterly captivated. It felt like we were both exploring uncharted territory, and with every fleeting moment, the uncertainty melted away, giving way to a shared trust and an intoxicating curiosity. In that moment, the world faded away, leaving only the intoxicating essence of us, suspended in a delicate embrace. In that intimate space, my fingers wove through his hair, softly entwining it as I pulled him nearer. The way he held my hands and caressed my back sent a thrill through me, a blend of serenity and exhilaration that was utterly intoxicating. His touch was both tender and assured, a delicate exploration that enveloped me in a sense of security, as if he yearned to uncover every nuance, every subtle shift. In a hushed moment of shared understanding, I glimpsed our reflection in the mirror, lingering just behind us. It deepened the experience, infusing it with an intensity that felt almost palpable, as if the world around us faded away. The reflection unveiled a delicate vulnerability, enveloped in warmth, creating an awareness that transcended mere moments. His hands, both gentle and purposeful, traced my waist, lingering over the lace of my stockings, igniting a subtle thrill that danced between us. In his embrace, there was an undeniable authenticity, a deep connection that stirred something within me. An intimate atmosphere enveloped the space, imbuing each moment with a sense of significance and permanence. After a lingering moment, we transitioned from the confined space of the bathroom to the sanctuary of my bedroom, where the atmosphere enveloped us in a more intimate embrace. In the hushed embrace of our secluded haven, where the warmth of our entwined souls lingered, Leo moved closer, and with each step, I was enveloped in a delicious mix of anticipation and serenity. It was a profound sense of trust and vulnerability that rendered every moment effortlessly intimate. The way he gazed at me, a blend of curiosity and sincerity, enveloped me in a warmth that suggested this moment transcended mere chance. It was a genuine connection we both felt deeply. In counter, I took a gentle lead, inviting him to the edge of the bed, where I knelt beside him. We continued to explore the warmth that enveloped us, sharing soft, lingering kisses and delicate touches that ignited a spark between us. I allowed my hands to glide over his shoulders, then down his neck, savoring the contours of his jawline. Each detail captivated me, and he responded in kind, his hands exploring my arms, brushing against the delicate lace and the warmth of my skin. There was no urgency in our embrace. We savored the soft, languid cadence that blossomed between us. In the space between us, a delicate dance unfolded, charged with an electric energy that blossomed effortlessly. There was no urgency, only the thrill of exploration and the tender appreciation of one another, raw and unguarded, as his hands traced the contours of my back and sides. In that moment, a delicate bond formed between us, filled with an unvoiced understanding of the warmth and intrigue that lingered in the air. His hands glided over the delicate lace, savoring each intricate detail of his touch, a blend of tenderness and longing. I leaned in, drawing myself nearer to him, my arms encircling his shoulders with every subtle shift, a silent promise that this moment held the same significance for him as it did for me. His gaze held a depth of sincerity, capturing every subtle movement, transforming each fleeting moment into something precious and unforgettable. The atmosphere between us grew thick with intimacy, each moment stretching into eternity as we reveled in the quiet closeness that enveloped us. There was an exquisite allure in its unpretentious nature. There's something intoxicating about the simplicity of our connection, a fleeting moment where silence spoke volumes, and our souls intertwined without the need for elaborate declarations. It was as if we were cocooned in our own universe, liberated from the burdens of daily life and the monotony that often binds us. Then, without warning, a sound shattered the tranquility. The doorbell echoed through the hallway, its sound both unexpected and alluring. I held on to that thought for a moment, Ben. I whispered, a thrill of awareness coursing through me as I understood he must have returned sooner than I had anticipated. Our eyes met, a silent agreement passing between us, and we both stifled a laugh at the delicious irony of the moment. I swiftly smoothed my clothes, running my fingers through my hair to ensure I appeared just right, while Leo mirrored my actions, casting a playful glance my way that sent a thrill through the air between us. As we gathered for supper, a playful yet knowing glance passed among us, an unspoken acknowledgement of the secrets we shared. We laughed and recounted tales of our days, reveling in each other's company, all while a tantalizing tension lingered just beneath the surface. Yet, the warmth of our shared connection enveloped me, a subtle understanding between Leo and me that lingered, teasing at the promise of something deeper. The following evening, I found solace in my room, letting the day's events gently slip into the shadows of my mind. The evenings unfolded with a serene allure, a cherished moment I eagerly anticipated each day. As I reclined in a haze of thought, a gentle knock broke the silence. Is it the door that beckons? My gaze lifted in astonishment, and there he was, Leo, framed in the doorway, an unexpected vision that stirred something deep within me. His gaze held a blend of intrigue and exhilaration, a hint of recognition intertwined with the intoxicating allure of the unforeseen. He entered the room, a gentle smile playing on his lips, shaking his head slightly, as if the words he was about to utter were still too wild to comprehend from the day before. He spoke, his voice a soft murmur, yet brimming with genuine emotion. It lingers in my mind, an irresistible thought that I can't shake off. In that fleeting moment, a silence enveloped us, drawing him nearer. As he nestled beside me, an unspoken understanding lingered in our gazes, a deep trust that transformed each second into something effortlessly serene and beautifully intimate. He led me with a tender yet confident caress, positioning me so that my back nestled softly against him. His movements were deliberate, neither rushed nor uncertain, each gesture imbued with purpose, as if he possessed an innate understanding of his desires and the unspoken language between us. The heat of his body pressed against mine, his breath whispering through my hair, enveloping me in a soothing embrace that felt both intimate and forbidden. As my breath quickened, the atmosphere thickened with an intoxicating silence, the world outside us dimming until only the soft cadence of our inhalations remained, intertwined with the relentless thump of my heart. His hand lingered on my shoulder, the weight of it grounding me, like an anchor that drew me deeper into this intoxicating moment. I closed my eyes, surrendering to the sensations that enveloped me, the subtle hint of his cologne, the warmth emanating from his skin, and the soft whisper of fabric as he shifted. His presence was both commanding and soothing, wrapping me in a cocoon of vulnerability and safety, a delightful contradiction that stirred something deep within me. A wave of energy coursed through me, a blend of anticipation and surrender. My breaths deepened, slow and deliberate, as I fought to maintain my composure. Yet, there was an undeniable thrill in the intimacy we shared, with no barriers between us. His arm wrapped around me, pulling me closer until the space between us vanished. The steady cadence of his breath was a balm, crafting a serene world just for us, a realm where time lingered and every touch held significance. At first, he moved with a gentle hesitance, as if savoring the moment, allowing us both to acclimate to the flutter of nervousness that danced in the air. In my breath, a momentary shiver coursed through me, a response I could scarcely contain. The warmth of his hand at my waist ignited a delicate yet electric sensation, sparking every nerve as his fingers grazed my skin. There was a gentleness in his movements that made me feel seen, respected, and utterly alive. But then, with a subtle shift, he changed, his pace infused with purpose. I felt him exhale, his intent growing palpable. If he chose to relinquish the careful control he had maintained, a shiver spread through me as he held me close, our breaths mingling in exhilarating rhythm that left no room for hesitation. An unspoken understanding flowed between us, our movements weaving a perfect wordless conversation, drawing me deeper into the moment. I had been striving to maintain my composure, but now I found myself breathing louder, surrendering to the response that surged within me, unable to hold back any longer. My heart pounded faster, the rhythm in sync with his own, until every sensation blurred together in a kind of focused intensity. I felt as though I were floating, as though time had lost meaning, and the only thing that mattered was this. Feeling this connection, his hand at my waist tightened just slightly, a gesture that brought me back to the present, grounding me in the warmth and comfort who provided. I found myself surrendering, letting go of any lingering thoughts or worries and just being in the moment with him. As we found our rhythm, I realized how natural it felt to be close, to trusting him and letting him guide me. There was something unspoken. We had an unspoken agreement between us, and my breathing had become deep and steady, though I could feel it hitch every now and again as he moved with greater haste. I felt my heartbeat echoing through me as if each beat was in perfect tune with his. He leaned in, his forehead brushing against my hair, and I could feel the warmth in his eyes. A softness that filled me with both serenity and excitement. Each breath seemed like a step into unknown land, yet I felt secure because he made a space just for us when everything else melted away. I wanted to show my thanks for his tenderness, patience, and the way he seemed to know exactly what I needed without my having to say anything. As he hugged me tight, I felt utterly free. My heart felt like it was going to explode from the overpowering combination of feelings: exhilaration, warmth, Comfort and something deeper, a sense of belonging. Every was a comfort, a subtle promise, and as I let go of my final constraint, a sensation of calm came over me. The quick speed he picked matched the intensity of our feelings, and I realized I didn't need to hold back or be silent. I let myself fully enjoy giving into the sensations, and for a brief period everything else stopped matching. Once we ended, I took a few seconds to collect myself, feeling a peaceful content warmth that persisted. Even as I stood up to begin, the remainder of the evening I walked to the bathroom to straighten my hair and clean up, giving myself a brief look in the mirror before walking to the kitchen to make supper. The familiar noises of slicing vegetables and the soft sizzle of the stove filled the air. I set the table, grounding myself in their routine of daily living, occasionally looking over my shoulder to see Leo teething up around the home. His typical calm presence contributed to the atmosphere of ease that pervaded the place. A little while later, my husband arrived home, his familiar footsteps proclaiming his presence as he stepped in. He greeted us with his customary kindness, patting Leo on the shoulder and smiling softly at me. We all gathered down at the table, and I served the lunch, felt a modest sense of pleasure, happy that everything looked perfect. As Wes started to dine, my husband turned to us and inquired about our day with his customary interest. Leo spoke first, sharing a few examples from his studies, his face beaming as he detailed a particularly engaging conversation in his history class. I smiled, feeling a sense of satisfaction in how passionately he talked and how real his joy was, and my husband listened intently, asking questions here and there, definitely engaged in the talk and curious about what Leo had to say. Then it was my time, and I shared a bit about my own day at work. I told them about a new project I was handling, careful to keep things light and interesting. My husband has been nodding, giving me his full attention, and Leo listened to a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. The meal felt cozy and warm, filled with familiar conversation, laughter, and the gentle hum of shared contentment. The thoughts stayed with me as we finished dinner and cleaned up together, everyone working in their familiar roles, quietly significant. It was a notion I kept near while I got ready for bed, and a faint grin crossed my lips as I fell asleep.